Good evening and welcome everybody. My name is Patrick Etchbarn. Tonight I will be presenting on the policy history of Senate Bill 1421 and Assembly Bill 748. Senate Bill 1421 became effective January 1st, 2019, and Assembly Bill 748 became effective July 1st, 2019. And both of these bills are law enforcement related bills regarding use of force. So if an officer uses use of force which results in great bodily injury or death to a person, a public has a right to those records after the criminal and administrative investigations are completed by the agencies. Now that's Senate Bill 1421. Assembly Bill 748 is in regards to the video recordings. So the history of this bill, how it's evolved from my research, 1994 was the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act. And what this did act placed more than 100,000 police officers in the field, $9.7 billion for increased correctional officers for prisons. It implemented the 3 strikes law. Also, there was a federal mandate on requirement for collection of use of force by law enforcement agencies. However, what they found that by the FBI, a lot of these use of force incidents were actually being reported. So there was no great transparency regarding these incidents. 20 years later, in 2014, you had the death of Eric Garner to your right and Michael Brown to your left over there. So on July 17, 2014, New York police officers investigated a crime of Eric Garner and ended up choking Mr. Garner. Multiple police officers, if you remembered, I Can't Breathe, that's from this incident. And the death of Michael Brown occurred in Ferguson, Missouri, just a month later on August 9, 2014, involving Officer Wilson and Michael Brown, and Michael Brown died of this incident also as a use of force incident. Now, both of these incidents caused a huge public outcry in the United States, demanding more transparency among law enforcement agencies across the nation. So in 2017, a landmark case of New Jersey Media Group versus New Jersey State Police found, and this was another incident where you had a African American who was involved in a pursuit, ended up in a use of force incident with numerous agencies, and the African American perished from this incident. And a New Jersey media group requested records regarding this incident. They were denied at the trial court level, and then they were denied at the appeal court level. But at the U.S. Supreme Court level, they found that the public has a right to know of incidents and records of incidents that involve use of force that cause great bodily injury or death, and also videos of these incidents also. So take it to today, 2 years later, because of that ruling, California law, Senate Bill 1421 and Assembly Bill 748 amended 832.7 of the Penal Code and made previously confidential documents discoverable through the PRA request. So not only do the use of force incidents can be discoverable, but also if officers were dishonest, and there was a finding by the department, and also any findings of sexual assault, they could be founded by the PRA request. So, and last year, PRA requests are really, really important to respond to quickly within the time limits, or you could be sued. Last year, LAPD was sued by the ACLU because of their lack and their reluctance to respond to PRA requests. Okay. And so, because of this bill, we created new positions with the CHP, but we still lack a software system and more web pages for the public to access these records, which we are still working on as an agency to become more transparent, because the public has a right and we need to build that relationship and enhance that relationship with the public so that the public can trust us on an everyday basis. And these are my references that I used. I have 5 different references. And that is the end of my presentation regarding Senate Bill 1421 and Assembly Bill 748. Are there any questions regarding the presentation tonight?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, young lady, young beautiful lady, go ahead.
How long does it take for the PRA request to get done?
That's a great question, and I go back here, all PRA requests, basically, if you came into the office and submitted a request to the CHP, say, I want a PRA request regarding this use of force, it goes through our Office of Risk Management, and legally we have 10 days to respond to the incident, or respond to the request. If we cannot get those records by the 10 days, the government code gives us an additional 14 days to submit those requests. So 10 days and additional 14 days if we can't get those requests in time. Great question. Any other questions?
Yes.
Okay, you got one more question. Go ahead.
Say that I was there and I witnessed, and I just want to make sure before I say I witnessed, I want to make sure what happened. Can I go in there and get a request?
Well,
What
you would be part of the, you'd be a witness to the investigation, and you'd be interviewed at the scene. And you would have a right, because you're a member of the public,
Right.
you know, you'd be in that report as a witness, but after our agency completed the administrative investigation, and usually it can't take more than 18 months, the investigation. It has to be done within 18 months. But yes, you'd be part of that investigation, and yes, after the investigation be completed, you'd be entitled to do a PRA request, and we would have to submit it within the 10 days and additional 14 days. Great question.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.